السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته everyone. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم الرحمن الرحيم من نفسي ومن الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير وإليه المصير. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. أما بعد. In the previous lecture last week, we have spoken in details about the first corruption has been done by the children of Israel as per the verses of Surah Al-Isra. Allah said, فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ أُولَاهُمَا بَعَثْنَا عَلَيْكُمْ عِبَادًا لَنَا أُولِي بَأْسٍ شَدِيدٍ فَجَاسُوا خِلَالَ الدِّيَارِ وَكَانَ وَعْدًا مَفْعُولًا. And whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the first corruption, and can you read the English of this one, please?
When the first of the two warnings would come to pass, we would send against you some of our servants of great might, who would ravage your homes. This would be a warning fulfilled.
The first corruption, as we have explained, has happened by Bani Israel, the children of Israel, through someone, his name is Paul or Paulus al-Rasul, as been mentioned in the New Testament and in the Bible. Now we have to come to the second corruption, because I didn't speak about that one last time. The second corruption has started late or end of 18th century, beginning of the 19th century, when all of a sudden there is a renaissance happens in the European, which called Asr al-Nahda al-Sinaiya, the time of industrial revolution, and they started to discover there is a lot. I want you to focus in this point, but all of a sudden, like tens of 30, 40, 50 scholars, scientists, all of them from Bani Israel, all of them were the children of Israel or Jews, but not believers as such. They were Zionists, like Einstein, like the guy of the psychology, what's his name? Sigmund Freud, the guy of philosophy, Nietzsche, and the other guy of this is the revolutionary Darwin, and all of these guys, all of them, none exception, no exception, all of them are Jews, children of Israel. All of a sudden they emerge, all of a sudden, and that was the second corruption. I would like to put it in a very simple terminology. All of these guys have that, what they call it, renaissance. It is no renaissance, it is not renaissance, it is decadence. All of these guys have working for the Antichrist or the Dajjal to disprove the revelations. One of them is the Darwin wanted to prove that we initiated from an ape and from a single cell. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran saying that we have been created man from dust. And even this is being proven through the Old Testament and New Testament has been stated there we have been initiated from dust. but they send one of their children to disprove this one and said the human is made out of one cell, and that one cell has been developed with a serial of events of development through millions or billions of years until to came there is from one ape, and that ape, and he said there is one step is missing. I cannot find any proof for that one. What happens, how this human developed from ape to human, but this is what is happening. And they kept teaching the students everywhere in the world, including Muslim world, in the biology classes of the Muslim world. I have learned that one when I was young, that this is the revolutionary theory of Darwin, and this is the ape, and he give you the photos from one cell and start to develop to this ape like this one, and all of a sudden there's a gap, and they tell you this is the human. And they disprove these ones by their own selves, and they said there is a stage there in the middle, we don't know what is happening. So what happens there to change from, to jump from being an ape to being a human? There is a lot to say here, but this is not the class of biology. But this is just to prove that these guys, one of the children of Israel, is trying to disprove the revelations of how the human has been created. Another guy is called Sigmund Freud, is teaching that the nafs, which is, they say it ego, or they say it the self, that nafs is only directed or being driven by the sexual desires only. He's talking about the lower class of the nafs, you know it, call it the nafs al-ammara bis-su, which is all looking for passions, food, sex, earthly issues, money and stuff like this. As there is nothing else to be cared about it, this is who we are, and this is how we came to this life. Having that kind of nafs cannot be developed. That means he is denying in a way or another the spiritual development. Where in the Old Testament and the New Testament, Jesus himself is a proof of the spiritual development. He is the spirit by himself, alayhi salam. So the second guy is trying, which I'm just giving an example. I cannot go through all the examples. It's 100 of them. I'm just giving few examples for you to open your mind. Why is the second corruption? Just to come back, the other guy, the third example I will use just to complete the theory or the idea. His name is Nietzsche. He's a philosopher. He is saying that the human is the one in control. Nothing can control you, be in the control. And all philosophers following Nietzsche and others, I don't remember many names now. All these guys just to disprove any revelations and to disprove that there is a God. The first corruption has happened at the time or after Jesus being lifted up by this so-called Paul, or his name, original Jewish name, Shaul. That Paul has converted, the first corruption is to convert monotheism to polytheism, meaning shirk. So the first corruption has been done by the children of Israel through the instructions of the Dajjal from up at them. He is the one who's controlling all of them. The first corruption is to make shirk, or is to have polytheism. The second corruption, which is denying the existence. Shirk meaning you make polytheism, that Allah is there, but there is some other sub-gods helping him. The Son of God, the Holy Ghost, this and that. Some of them even Lady Mary is a god by itself. Some of the churches. And this business of polytheism is spreading everywhere in the world. Go for the Hinduism, go for Buddhism, go for everywhere. And that was very clear at the time of before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is worshipping idols. Each idol is a god. This is polytheism too. The problem is that the first corruption was focusing on polytheism, shirk. The second corruption is focusing in kufr, idol. So it became infidels, just converting all the people not in for polytheism. That means there's God, but there's someone other gods, sub-gods are helping him. They are denying the Father at all. They are denying Allah by total. So they are making this shirk, converting from a little bit of crime called polytheism to deep crime, which is denying Allah by itself. And how they're going to do this one is to testify that the revelation is wrong. And the problem is, Allah saying in the Quran, I'll give you one example, just example. This is, it might be, you think it is not related, but it is related for the corruption. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Anbiya, أَوَلَمْ يَرَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَنَّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ كَانَتَا رَتْقًا فَفَتَقْنَاهُمَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the heavens and earth was one thing, and we separated them, earth and seven heavens. Now they are trying to tell you this is not right, this is not true. They are telling you about a small marble called earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never said in the Quran or in the hadith that the earth is a planet. They said planet earth, planet like any other planet. Earth is not a planet. Earth is earth. That's it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that the whole earth with the heavens, same, but was one thing, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has separated them earth, then He created after that or disclassified the heavens to seven heavens. The problem is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also to prove the same point, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that He has created the earth in 2 days and He has created the heavens in 2 days. That gives you time-wise that they should be equal. But they are trying to convince the humanity, specifically Muslims. They are misguiding everyone, but they are trying to misguide Muslims, which you have the revelations between your hand, and saying something different. They said that this earth is a dangling or a floating marble on the space, and it is even smaller than the sun, smaller than the other planets, and it's just another planet. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if you imagine that the heavens and earth was one thing and separated, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala separated a small little dust. If you go away from their perception, away that the earth is very small, until if you have a bit far away, you cannot see it itself. Or you will see just a dot in the space. And that space is the heaven. There is nothing called space. Call it in Arabic al-fada. It's not fada. Fada means empty. Right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you read, this is verse number 30 in السماوات والأرض كانتا رتقا ففتقناهما, verse number 30 in Surah Al-Anbiya, the prophets. And if you read more in 31 and 32, you will discover amazing facts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's saying He put on earth the mountains to make it fixed, not to move. وَجَعَلَ فِيهَا رَوَاسِيَ أَن تَمِيدَ بِهِمْ. Rawasi and Tamida bihim, meaning He put the mountains on earth to keep it constant, not to moving around. And they are telling the earth is revolving around the sun. This is also wrong. Please go, I urge everyone here, go and study verses 30, 31 and 32, probably 33 in Surah Al-Anbiya. Very clear. Very clear. I don't know why Muslim scholars cannot see and read that. So they are trying to convince you that the revelation is wrong. We are NASA. NASA is one of the tools of the Dajjal. We are NASA. We have travels in the space and we have seen the truth itself. And the truth is the earth is a small ball, and it is not ball. It is not spherical. It is flat. And it is a small ball dangling on the space, and this is your earth. the revelations you have by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is wrong. Muhammad is a liar. This is a very tiny theory of them, or few of the theory, like the human, the earth and stuff. This is their corruption. If you need a big lecture about the creation of earth and heavens and creation of man, I can do it, but next time. But this is the second corruption. The second corruption is to deny Allah Himself and to deny the revelations. And we have a lot of verses predicting that 1400 years ago. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to disprove that, He has given these verses. There is other verses in the Quran can prove this one. One verse, another, just it came to my mind. The verse in Surah Al-Rahman, Ya ma'ashara al-insi wal-jinn, إن استطعتم أن تنفذوا من أقطار السماوات والأرض فانفذوا لا تنفذون إلا بسلطان. The word أقطار in Arabic means borders, or in Arabic we said القطر المصري. قطر means a country, meaning a small spot on earth have boundaries, borders. When he said, oh, he's talking to the humanity and to the other race called the jinn. If you can penetrate and cross over the boundaries of earth and heavens, you cannot do it unless you have the authority to do this one. Don't ask me what is authority now, but I'm telling you this is another fact. That means the heavens and earth, between earth and heaven, always there is boundary. First earth and first heaven, second earth and second heaven, and so forth. What they are trying to tell you, this is not true. And even the map of NASA giving to the people is totally hocus pocus. And go and read what they have said. This is just a computerized model. They don't know exactly what it is. Computerized model they are producing to make the people focus on that this is the truth, which is anything comes from NASA, majority of the things comes from NASA is fake. It is not true. And the earth you have seen in the maps, this is not our earth. This is part of our earth. There are areas on the maps do not show. And they are telling you about the North Pole. It is all of it ice. There are big areas, and this is some of the scholars consider this area. This is where was the Jannah of Sayyidina Adam when Allah has created him there. And there are 4 rivers, and there is a central one of the mountain called Numiru Mountain. That Numiru Mountain is full of the magnetic field. Not the talk tonight. But anyway, I have given you some examples from their second corruption. Basically, the second corruption, I will repeat this again, is to deny Allah Himself and deny all revelations, including Old Testament, New Testament, Quran, everything. Where the Old Testament, New Testament have some facts, they deny everything. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ الْآخِرَةِ لِيَسُوءُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَلْيَدْخُلُوا الْمَسْجِدَ كَمَا دَخَلُوهُ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ وَلْيُتَبِّرُوا مَا عَلَوْا تَتْبِيرًا.
If you act rightly, it is for your own good. But if you do wrong, it is to your own loss. And when the second warning would come to pass, your enemies would be left to totally disgrace you and enter that place of worship as they entered it the first time, and utterly destroy whatever would fall into their hands.
I want you to focus this. وَلْيَدْخُلُوا الْمَسْجِدَ كَمَا دَخَلُوهُ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ. The second corruption, the first corruption was before Islam. And all scholars, all the Quran interpreters agrees about that. Except few, they said the first corruption was at the time of Bani Qaynuqa' and Bani Qurayza, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam invaded Bani Qaynuqa' and Bani Qurayza after the ditch, Ghazwat al-Khandaq, where they tried to help the mushrikeen. And he sallallahu alaihi wasallam has invaded Bani Qaynuqa' and Bani Qurayza, and he even goes to the Khaybar and destroyed this, and he kicked all of them out of the Arabian Peninsula. They said that was the first corruption, and the first corruption, they tried to have 2 or 3 trials to kill Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That was not one. This is not right. The first corruption, if you think properly, that the corruption has to be spread over earth, that was not over the earth. Second corruption will happen at the time of Islam, because that is not the second, is the last corruption. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he didn't say فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ الثَّانِيَةِ, he said فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ الْآخِرَةِ. He didn't say when the promise of the second one, he said the promise of the last one. That means the current corruption is the last corruption for the children of Israel. And a piece of knowledge here, if I have time tonight or others, just to remind myself, the children, the country called Israel, there is not a country, just an occupation of a Palestinian land. This country there will be removed and wiped out of earth within the time of the Third World War. In the beginning, in the middle, at the end. By the end of Third World War, there is nothing called Israel. It will come back to the Islamic field. How we can talk about this later. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala وَلْيَدْخُلُوا الْمَسْجِدَ كَمَا دَخَلُوهُ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ. Al-Masjid al-Aqsa, in the beginning of the Surah Al-Isra, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله. Allah has mentioned the Aqsa mosque by name, and he's connected that mosque with Palestine, the area of Ard Mubarakah, the blessed land, with the mosque, with Muslims. Because the surah has been revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and we believe in this surah. When the second corruption will come, those people, the same level of Iman, when they have taken the keys at the time of Umar ibn Khattab, of Palestine and the Jerusalem at that time, those same level of the Sahaba, hearts, Iman and belief, these guys, when they come to that level, they will get back again to take. The first time we have taken the Jerusalem from the Christians, second time we will take it by force from the Jews. And this is soon will happen. It will happen in your lifetime, or majority of you, the young ones. I'm not sure about myself. When he said فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ الْآخِرَةِ لِيَسُوءُ وُجُوهَكُمْ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said لِيَسُوءُ وُجُوهَكُمْ. Here لِيَسُوءُ وُجُوهَكُمْ, it needs a bit of understanding here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I want you to read again in English. The same.
If you act rightly, it is for your own good. But if you do wrong, it is to your own loss. And when the second warning would come to pass...
That was wrong translation, not the second, last. Allah said al-akhirah. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ الْآخِرَةِ, the last. Okay.
And when the last warning would come to pass, your enemies would be left to totally disgrace you and enter that place of worship as they entered it the first time, and utterly destroy whatever would fall into their hands.
لِيَسُوءُ وُجُوهَكُمْ. It can be Arabic, linguistically speaking, لِيَسُوءُ وَجْهَكُمْ. But Allah has put it in plural, wujuhakum, not one wajh, wujuhakum. When I try to disgrace you, if someone slap your face and you cannot respond to that one, this is a disgrace. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is put it in plural, not because they are many. Yes, they are many, but the wajh is the fasad, your face, but the fasad here meaning the fasad. Who is the fasad of the children of Israel now? USA, France, England, all European countries, Germany, all of them. They are defending them. These children, Israel, without USA and Europe, it will be demolished in few hours, even if they have nuclear power, which I disbelieve this one. They don't have. There is no proof that. They are just using propaganda, rumors, right? Assume with that, they will be finished in few hours. Who are protecting these faces, fasads? Fasads means the wujuh, which is all European country, all or the West, and sometimes also Russia, the East also are protecting Israel. Russia, China, and whatever. Did you ever came across that Russia is attacking Israel or against Israel, or the Chinese is against? They just, everyone is serving, because everyone is working for the Antichrist, East and West. Now, this wujuhakum liyasu'u wujuhakum here, that have probably, if we speak about this, the interpretation 200-300 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, it won't be understood, but the current situation explains that. Their faces, their facades, they're protecting them are many. Top of them is USA. Right? So at that time, when these people with that high level of Iman will destroy all these countries, and this has been proven by the hadiths of Rasulullah. If we have time to talk about Imam Mahdi will destroy all these armies, all of them, with another natural catastrophes will happen specifically to United States. And this is also proven by the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whatever Rasulullah Muhammad alayhi salatu wasallam have said, hadith, it's going to happen. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, in the second promise, or the last promise of their corruption, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, it's not only you I will destroy, it is those who protecting you too. Whether by the hands of these believers, mu'min, the Muslims, or by natural catastrophes. Why I'm saying that? There is a simple hadith. The hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is one of the signs of Imam Mahdi before he comes, alayhi salam. There will be 3 major earthquakes on earth. What is happening in the tsunamis, earthquakes in Turkey, in Iran, in Egypt, in anywhere else. This is nothing. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, one of the signs of appearance of Imam Mahdi, خسف بالمشرق وخسف بالمغرب وخسف بأرض العرب. There will be a huge earthquake in the east, huge earthquake in the west, and a huge earthquake in the Arabian Peninsula. There is another hadith is proving that the Arabian Peninsula earthquake, that the army will be sent by the Sufyani, one of the Arab leaders, to attack Imam Mahdi while he is appeared already. Now he is in Mecca. He will send an army from the area between Iraq and Syria, or from army from both sides, to go and kill Imam Mahdi, because at that time he is the top Arab leader. And that when he go to Al-Madinah, Imam Mahdi at that time, he has already left Medina, he's in Mecca. Between Mecca and Medina will be a big earthquake, will swallow all of this army. And some of the scholars, the army between 30 to 50,000 with full gears. The earthquake will swallow all of them. And that is the sign or the green card Allah is giving to Imam Mahdi. Now you have to get out of Mecca. Now you have to take lead. That is the sign for Imam Mahdi. And that is the sign for Muslims that Imam Mahdi is coming out. Alayhi salam. When he said, وَلْيَدْخُلُوا الْمَسْجِدَ كَمَا دَخَلُوهُ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ وَلْيُتَبِّرُوا مَا عَلَوْا تَتْبِيرًا. The word tibr, it is the fine dust. The word tibr in Arabic, fine dust, fine black dust, meaning it's a dust will come out of burning something, make a small smoke and dust. That means this army will destroy your civilization completely. That is the army of Imam al-Mahdi. The Western civilization, which you can currently see, will be demolished because this is the infidel civilization. It never helped humanity. Yes, we have some technology, we have some advanced, but I'm just giving you an example of a big failure of this civilization. The medical system is a complete failure. All the Western medical system are treating the symptoms. They are not treating the root cause all the time for the last 100-something years. And they wanted to keep, if you are a diabetic, they wanted you to keep, because the factories of producing the medicine keep producing and you keep paying money. They don't want you to be cured. They will never, this I'm giving an example, they will never give you the treatment of the root cause. Always just to suppress the symptoms. Cancer is the same, heart problems the same, everything. Even the open heart surgeries is treating symptoms, not the root cause. Why? You didn't tell me why the arteries get blocked. It's a temporary solution too. Treating the symptoms, not the root cause. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said here, وَلْيُتَبِّرُوا مَا عَلَوْا تَتْبِيرًا, can you read this last statement please in English? Destroy whatever would fall into their hands. Not really the right translation. Because the word destroy, you can break something and it's not going to work. But this is eradication. The complete eradication to the source of evil on earth, which is the Western civilization. They did not look for the welfare of humanity, the welfare of themselves. As long as, look what France, England, USA, they're sucking the blood of the nations. They don't mind to occupy Iran and Iraq, kill the people to get the petrol and gas. They don't mind to kill millions and billions of people as long as they are okay. And they are doing that. They even manufacture in their labs microbes and bacteria and viruses. And they don't mind to spread it to kill these people as long as we are all right. If I'm talking about the second corruption, I can classify it: biological corruption, health corruption, educational corruption. You can measure it all over even the trade corruption, manufacturing corruption. Everything is corrupted. And this is the extent of the second corruption. They are corrupting even the water, corrupting the food. Monsanto, the USA company, engineered food, which leads to a lot of ailments. Cancer is one of them. failure of the diabetes is one of them, failure, liver failure, kidney failures, you name it. This is not for the welfare of humanity. Allah have sent Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam Muhammad for the welfare of humanity, to be saved here in this life, have a happy and easy life, and have a happy and easy life the life after. They do not care about the akhirah, the hereafter. They don't care. Of course, if they deny Allah and teaching the people how to deny Allah, if they deny the revelations, if they wanted to lead the humanity to become in a dark tunnel all their life, of course, they won't care about the day of the hereafter, the akhirah. So the word وَلْيُتَبِّرُوا مَا عَلَوْا تَتْبِيرًا, that denoting the destruction of the Western civilizations the way it is now. And another thing before, I have only another 3-4 minutes before Maghrib. Since the beginning of humanity, since his name is Israel or Cain, day one, the one who have inherited the knowledge and high level of knowledge is the son of Adam. And all the human history, the killer, which is still alive until now, is trying to steal all these knowledge and civilizations, has been left. And because that son, we mentioned that it might be his Sayyidina Idris or Akhnoch, he is the one who started to record written format all the knowledge and the revelations. So since that time he started to steal. So it was the habit of the Dajjal from the early stage of human history is to create wars, destroys the civilizations and steal the knowledge. And that is very well known. He is always burning the big libraries. It is recorded in the even ancient has happened many times at that time. And it has very clear, there is big, very famous one. It is burning the Alexandria University 2 or 3 times. Big Alexandria city. There was a big library there. Right? And they consider Alexander the Great is great because he is collecting all this knowledge and put the big library there. This is one of his outcomes. So it is his way, all the human history from the time of Adam until today. Look what has happened in Iraq. This is the last thing. They invaded the USA Army and the European NATO has invaded Iraq. The first thing, they steal all the knowledge and all the authored books, handbooks of history, of knowledge of Muslims 1,000 or 1,500 years ago. They have stolen them and they burning all libraries and destroying all the old ancient history. And this is well recorded, and even you have videos, they have done this. And that is always his way to keep his knowledge to himself and to cut the relationship between this generation and the previous generation, and to cut that knowledge of the previous generation to come to you, so you will be ignorant. So all the time, most of the people are completely reliant on the Dajjal. Even the Dajjal, he is the only one is written the history. The whole human history is fake, being written by the Antichrist himself or his writers or his followers. Every time you read a history about any battle or anything, World War #2 or 3 or whatever it is being written by the Victorians, correct? And they can say whatever they say. And there's a lot of lies. Did you ever read a history from those who've been defeated to tell you the truth? Never. And it is not allowed. And what is the first thing they will do? Whether you become with me, this is at the time of Hitler when they win the Second World War, they took all the Germans and those who denied, they killed them immediately. No hesitant. They will kill the scholars, they will kill the scientists, they will kill everyone if you're not coming with them, supporting and helping the Dajjal. And this fake renaissance of USA, it is because of the Germans and Arabs. Enough. Let's have Maghrib time. Thank you very much for now. Now, we understood, and that is the most important point about the children of Israel, is the two corruptions. We understood what was the corruption number one, and what was the last corruption is to deny Allah Himself, which is kufr, infidels, or infideliology, whatever you name it, and denying the revelations. And we understood what these guys were, the Muslims, when they have that big iman and started, by the way, the country called Israel will be gone way before appearance of Imam Mahdi. Now we will start to talk about when this Dajjal, there is two things will happen to the Dajjal. One thing already did happen, and the second thing will happen soon. The Dajjal, this what's so-called Hadith Tamim al-Dari. The hadith is a bit long, as you can see. Reading the hadiths in Arabic and in English itself, it will consume at least 10 minutes. So I don't have that luxury of time. But I will tell you in a nutshell, and he can say it in English for those who can't understand Arabic. Tamim al-Dari, I want you to be careful with the names I will mention. Tamim al-Dari, he was a monk, Christian monk. And he is a Syrian guy. And there are very famous tribes in the area of Sham, all Arabs, and in the history of Islam, very well known, called, two of them called Lakhm and Juzam, and there are a third one called Kalb. Not means dog, but Kalb. This is the three famous tribes. There are some other famous tribes, but I'm talking to you about Lakhm and Juzam because this will be mentioned in the hadith of Tamim al-Dari. Tamim al-Dari, as I told you, he's a Christian monk. He used to be somewhere in the top of the mountains there in certain areas in Syria. And he was a worshipper, dedicated himself to worship Allah on the basis of Christianity of monotheism, not Trinity. And it was the habit of that time from the Arabs, specifically Christian ones, when they go for a trip to get some good commodities and stuff, they would like to have a blessing or a blessed man with them. So they asked 30 sailors, asked Tamim al-Dari to accompany them in this trip. They were in the big ship, and all of a sudden the sea is starting to have high waves, windy, raining, and it ended up the ship is being lost in the middle of the sea, and they were suffering from this one for 30 days, 1 month. It ended up the ship come to as a land, which is like an island or something, and they cannot get the ship to the land because there is no port or something. So they have to put this stuff down in the water. So they have to small boats to drive to the island. It ended up the 30 sailors and Tamim al-Dari get it into the island. These 30 sailors are from these tribes called Lakhm and Juzam, Syrian. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. These 30 sailors from Lakhm and Judham, I will mention him for the second time tonight, inshallah. That was the first time these guys, these two names appeared in the hadiths of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. They get inside the land, they have found a creature. All of the creature has hair from back and forth. They said they cannot see this is a front or the back of the creature. Talking, and it was speaking Arabic. Who are you? Said, who are you? He said, I am Jassasa. Jassasa came from Tajassus, which is this spire, like spying the news. And make it short, there is someone waiting for you inside the island, waiting for you for years to come to him. Anyway, they went inside, they found a huge man, like they are in the short people like us. Tamim al-Dari and these guys, same as normal human, 160, 170, 180 maximum. But that guy was a bit bigger than the basketball guys. Let's say 2 meters and 20 or 230 or something. And they find that the following: he's being chained with his hand to his neck with big ring of metal and with the chains, and he has been to the wall, chained to the wall. And from his knees to his foot, the same metal and chained to the wall, so he cannot move. Who are you? He said, you tell me who are you first, I will tell you after, I know. They said, we are Arabs, right? And he asked them 4 questions. Asked them about Nakhli Bisan, the palm trees of an area called Bisan. It is in Jordan or Palestine. Is asked them about, said, what do you ask about? What do you want from the palm of Bisan? Nakhli Bisan said, is it still producing? He said, yes, producing plenty of the dates. He said, it is about to be not to produce. Currently, this from the time of the Israel 1948, it is declining. Now there is no production at all. That is one of the signs. Second, he said, tell me about the lake of Tabariya, which is in between Jordan and Palestine. Is it has water? He said it has plenty of water. Is people benefit from this one? Sweet water. He said it is about to dry. And he asked them about third question about the well, big well in Jordan, nearby Iraq. It's a western side of Jordan. Is that كده اسمها عين زغر? It's the name عين زغر, the well of Zoghr. It does still have water. It said plenty of water, and even people feeding their cattle and animals and the agricultural production from that well. He said it's about to dry. It is already dried. It doesn't have water now. And Tabariya, the area of Tabariya before 1948 was, say, triple or quadruple time what is currently now. It is just shrinking. Till now there is some island started to appear in the middle of the lake. Before there was no islands. It's about to dry. And he asked the 4th question, what did the Arabs, did the Muhammad sallallahu he said, Nabiyul Ummiyin, the prophet of the Ummiyin, which is illiterates, appeared. Said, what did they do with him? He said they fought him, but he has taken over the whole peninsula. They said that's good for them. They became obedient to him now. He said that's good for them. Now I will tell you who I am. I am Ad-Dajjal. Cash. He said, I am Ad-Dajjal. And he's been chained. He said, I am about to be released. About to be released. And when I been released, he said, Asihu fil ard, I will be everywhere on earth. Except Mecca and Medina. I cannot get in there. Because these angels having swords and stuff, I don't want to give deep details. Just he cannot come to Mecca and Medina. Right? That is the Dajjal. So the question is, when did he being released? Because some people thinking because of that hadith, Tamim al-Dari, he's still in that island. When he said أسيح في الأرض, he will create all kind of fitnas. Fitnas means trials, deception, liars. Dajjal, he is the falsifier, falsifying everything. That the end, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, this is the hadith I told you before. You remember when I told about these things, Tamim al-Dari came and told me exactly, typically what I have told you before. If you need to have more details about this hadith, please go and read it. It's very famous hadith. Said hadith Tamim al-Dari. It will come to you. It's like one page of hadith. You can see it's big hadith. Now, I will move for another hadith. I forgot to mention it here. That hadith was between Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman, the secretary of Rasulullah, and Umar ibn al-Khattab. It seems to me that the Umar ibn al-Khattab, when he is making jokes or he has a physical jokes, like pinching, doing things like he was doing this with Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman. He said, you hurt me. And he told him one word, make up. Umar ibn al-Khattab, he was passing Hudhayfa and doing something like this to him. He was just twisting him or pinching him or something. And he get in a little pain. He said, stop. Ya qifla al-fitna. And Umar ibn al-Khattab was what did you say? He said, you are qifl al-fitna. Qifl al-fitna meaning the padlock of the trials and fitna. He said, what are you saying? He said, I was sitting with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and you are passing in the front of us. After you said Assalamu alaikum, you passing in the front of us, and Rasulullah pointed at you. I said, I will say it in Arabic and translate, because in Arabic he said, لا تزال أمتي بخير ما زال هذا فيكم. My ummah will become in very good shape as long as you have that man among you. And someone asked Rasulullah, what do you mean, Ya Rasulullah? He said, that man is the padlock of fitna. And he explained that to Umar, and he grabbed him from his cloth. Is that door will be open or broken? He said, it will be broken. Umar, he said, I will be killed then. Right? The day Umar ibn al-Khattab has killed, that was the day of the Dajjal has been released. Because after Umar ibn al-Khattab, the fitna of this ummah started. And it started creeping slowly. By creeping of Bani Umayyah, at that time, first 6 years of the time of Uthman ibn Affan, the second 6 years, they control the whole Sham. And he could not do much about them. Even Imam Ali have mentioned that to him. Even Abdullah ibn Umar mentioned that to him. Even Abdullah ibn Abbas. All the Sahaba asked Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu ta'ala anhu, this is going to happen. He said, I have been giving the ahd or the covenant to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam not to start fitna. Said, the fitness is already started. But the fitna became public after killing of Uthman. At that time was knowing there is signs of fitna is growing up. But after killing of Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, great fitna. And the biggest fitna ever was Imam Ali and Muawiyah. And since that time, this ummah not in safe hands. Since that time, we have issues after issues after issues. The real killing started, Muslims to kill Muslims, starting from that time. I don't want to go deep in details here. So that hadith of Tamim al-Dari is telling us that the Dajjal himself was being chained in that island. And who has chained him? Go and read the Quran when Sayyidina Musa is talking to As-Samiri. As-Samiri, when he has created that calf, the golden calf, and the children of Israel have worshipped him. Excuse me. And he said, إن لك في الدنيا في الحياة الدنيا أن تقول لا مساس. لا مساس, no one will touch you. You will be secluded, you will be hidden. But إلى الوقت المعلوم, there is a special time Allah will allow you to come yourself, to come out personally. So the two things I told you in the beginning, there is two events. One already happened, which is releasing of the Dajjal out of that jail or this chains, and it will be from that time until his personal appearance at the end, which is coming soon, 20, 30 years, I'm not sure. The Antichrist. He all the time was playing all the games, all kind of fitnas, trials. Behind the scene, he is in control of everything. And I don't want to go in deep details what he has done since the time of Umar, of killing of Umar, until the day of judgment. This is another talk and it will take too long time. But what I wanted to highlight it here is 2 or 3 things. The Antichrist, the Dajjal, the falsifier, all the same man, is playing behind the scene, and he is the one who appeared in separate or different times. One of you have asked me about Safi ibn Sayyad or Abdullah ibn Sayyad or Ibn Sayyad, as that has happened or appeared at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is the Dajjal. He is one of the Dajjals, one of the falsifiers, but he is not the real Antichrist or the real Dajjal. Where at the certain time that Jabir ibn Abdullah and Umar ibn Khattab will say, Wallahi, he is the Dajjal. And Rasulullah listened to that one and he didn't comment. But Rasulullah never said that he is the Dajjal, which is true. He is not. The Dajjal, okay. I have to say some nasty stuff. Some people believe at the time of Imam Mahdi to be able to combat the Dajjal and his darkness or dark army, that those who didn't marry Muslims from any nation, specifically Muslim nations, those who die without marriage, those who awliya and saints and all prophets and messengers, and some of them even highlight raise the bar that angels Gabriel, Israfil, this one is going to fight with Imam Mahdi alayhi salam and to beat the Dajjal and the darkness of the Dajjal. This is not true. And it might be true, but we don't have any evidence, right? Even these hadiths in the Shia side, most of the scholars didn't say this is true. Some of the scholars, this is weak hadiths and we cannot take it as, I'm talking from Shia side. Muslim side, we don't have this. The Sunni side, they don't have that. This is number one. Number two, as we have mentioned before, that Dajjal or the falsifier has appeared in the human history in many forms. First time was Israel, Cain. Second, I'm talking about the recorded history. Second time at the time of Musa, right? There are some other times before Musa, but I just pick some of them. His name is Samurai. At the time of Jesus, his name is Paul. At the time of in many other times, it appeared in different shapes and different names. But why he has this capability? You have to understand those who have some idea about the black magic. The black magic is using the dark Satan's shayateen to harm the humans. So any black magician, he will use this jinn, shaitan jinn, Satan, right? And he will send him as a servant to that black magician to harm someone. It can be mental harm, it can be psychological harm, it can be physical harm, and probably spiritual harm. These guys, some of these black magicians cannot make their black magic work unless they have a medium. That medium, this is very well known. Everyone knows this one. They have to brought a child, an innocent child, not more than 7 years old, use it as a medium to make their jinn works. From that time of Israel or Cain or the falsifier, the Dajjal, any name you choose, he has a joint venture with Iblis himself. They are working together since that time, the beginning of humanity. The jinn cannot influence the ins or the humans unless there are medium. There are two factors here. I'm trying to finish it quickly. Two factors here. Every human has something called al-qareen, the companion from the jinn. That qareen is the door for your harm. The black magician cannot harm you unless he is using the qareen. He has a jinn, using that jinn as a servant for the black magic, and that jinn will go through you to you through your qareen.
I don't think mine isn't working.
Now we understand this item number one or point number one. Qareen is playing major role of your harm.
Can't you put it in there?
If you remember at the time of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, the Pharaoh he has a ministry of magician, black magician. All of them, that was the top ministry. Wizarat al-Sihr. And he used the black magic to control the masses.
Oh shit, that's way too hot. Yeah.
And the black magic used to have humans, magicians. And these magicians used to use the jinn to do this black magic. So, to make this point clear, Iblis, when he has the challenge with Allah, and he said, لَأَقْعُدَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ وَلَا تَجِدُ أَكْثَرَهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ, and I will deviate all of them away from the straight path. I will deviate all of them away from you, and they won't even worship you.
Is it cold?
And I will make them worshipping everything else except you.
I didn't.
And he said, وَلَا تَجِدُ أَكْثَرَهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ.
Okay.
Mean all of them or majority of them, they will never thank you, but they can thank me, because I will help them to get things.
Some questions.
Right?
You work on yours, I won't work on mine.
At that time, to fulfill this covenant or to fulfill this promise that he will do this one, he cannot do it alone unless there is a medium.
Can you check on your phone?
And that medium was the Dajjal himself. So they have that joint venture. The Dajjal, which is the human form, the son of Adam, and the Iblis or the Lucifer or Azazel, whatever the name. They have that joint venture. So Iblis, to make the things done, he has to do it through the Dajjal, a human form. Same concept applies from that time till the day of judgment. So that medium used to harm the humanity is the Dajjal himself. This is item number 2. Item number 3. The jinn, which is the descent of Lucifer, they are always having very long time. Some of them, of the jinn, having 3,000 years old, 7,000 years old, 2,000 years old, very long time. So they do not have this analytical power as the human have, but they have accumulated a lot of experiences all over the year. So they do not have much analytical power, but they have accumulated very good amount of knowledge, and they have something we don't have. We forgot memory stuff. They have 100% memory, clear and strong. They don't forget like we do. So the accumulation of the experiences of the Satans added to the analytical power of human, according to the son of Adam, Cain or Israel, whatever it is, Israel. This working together plus the power of knowledge of the revelations. The Dajjal is keep accumulating all over the history, and you can assume Adam came to earth 120,000 years ago. That means that man is 120,000 years old. So he's accumulating all of this knowledge, comes through all the revelations. So that 3 powerful tools in the hand of the Dajjal used by Lucifer, Iblis. The power of knowledge Allah has taught Adam and been inherited through all prophets and messengers. And has the crown of all this knowledge came with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And the analytical power and intelligence of the human normally, they don't have, the jinn don't have this intelligence, and the strong memory and experiences of the jinn, and they have some other powerful stuff. They can move mountains, very strong, powerful. So all of this one in the grip of the son of Adam, Israel, or the falsifier, or the Dajjal. I want you to imagine how powerful he is. And he is using the knowledge he has and the knowledge accumulated all over the human history. And he cut every generation from any knowledge, make the whole humanity are ignorant. They are like cattle. And he is the only one has the knowledge, and he use some people around him and give them some. When the Nikola Tesla didn't follow the Zionist because he knew some of this knowledge, the Dajjal, they killed him and steal all this knowledge. And this is very well known. You go and try it. Now you imagine that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed him to have all these powers in his hand. What kind of fitna we have? Very bad fitna. And this is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is no fitna appeared on earth since the time of Adam until the day of judgment more than the fitna of the Dajjal, the falsifier. Since this is happening, what do you think Imam Mahdi will have to beat all of that? I want you now to open your mind to the concept of Mahdi. What does it mean? The word Mahdi by itself, meaning is he is the one directly guided by Allah, following Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the terminology of Mahdi. Means it is not just a name. And you have to understand the keys and the secrets of the Quran. It will be in his hand, and he will start to emanate that, and he will come with knowledge, technologies, and amount of powers you cannot imagine, not even the Dajjal, not even the Iblis. And this is how he will destroy the Western inhuman civilization, including the Chinese, Japan, all of them. And he will come with a renaissance of new knowledge and technology, and he will make the whole earth like a Jannah. I can go all over and over, but the time is passing quickly, so I will stop here for the questions. Please.
The first question, as parents, how do we prepare our children for what's to come?
First of all, the answer, it is in two ways answer. One of them is try to keep a barrier between them and the technology of the Dajjal. And the most problematic one is the mobile. You, to keep your child silent, you keep him away, you give him the mobile because you wanted to talk to your friend, you wanted to cook, you wanted to go outside, you wanted to do anything, and this is a crime. That mobile has all tricks and black magic of the Dajjal. You are subjecting your children to have a direct relationship with the falsifier, the Antichrist, personally. Any child can open the mobile, have an access, and can access anything. And now there is a technology, and you know it, which is called the verse or metaverse. That technology by itself will recognize who is watching, who is carrying the mobile, a child or a woman or a man. Once they know that he's a child, you start to give him things. If you take the mobile in your hand, the things you will receive different from what she or he receives. And this is one of his black magic called technology. This is not technology, this is black magic, but in a very modern science, modern way. Right? One of the fitna, one of this corruption I forgot to mention, they are trying to make the science above the Quran, above the revelations. If the science prove this one, take it. And there are idiots of sheikhs and mullahs said, yeah, this proves this verse of the Quran. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. This discovery proves this verse of the Quran. And it might be a fake discovery, fake theory. And so in the future, this is his plan. In the future, they will say, that theory was wrong. That means the Quran was wrong. You understand? You understand the philosophy behind when you discover this theory is wrong, which is Muslims, scholars in their books and handbooks and interpretation of the Quran said, yeah, this discovery or that science is proving the Quran is correct. Then later they will say this is wrong. We discover something more correct than this one. That means your verse of the Quran is incorrect. Then they will make you to disbelieve in the revelations. Because you are thinking, this is what they put in your mind, that the science is above the Quran. The science proving the Quran, not the opposite. Sorry, it's just to add another point to this question. You need to lead by example. If you are a mother or a father, I am begging you, I will, if you allow me to kiss your feet one by one, I will do it. make your son or daughter to attend and make the 5 prayers. If he do not understand, he or she do not understand why I should 5 prayers now, later he will understand. That is his own protection from the darkness. It is the first line of defense against the darkness of Iblis and the Dajjal. I'm not asking much, just the 5 prayers. Is this too much for you guys? The second line of defense is to teach them who is Rasulullah, why we love him so much, what for. If you don't teach your children love of Rasulullah, following Rasulullah, you are making a big crime. And if you're trying to do anything else, it's a waste of time, waste of energy. Next.
What people will make up the Mahdi's army? How will we know when he arrives? How long do you think before he arrives?
I will answer you very simple question. Who supported Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? People with a great heart, great iman, great minds. He spent 13 years in Mecca. The whole message was 23 years. 13 years in Mecca. He didn't ask them to pray. He didn't ask them fasting Ramadan. He didn't ask them to make Hajj. He didn't ask them to pay zakah. He didn't ask any of these shariahs. 13 years he is fixing, he sallallahu alayhi wasallam, fixing their heart to build the faith and believe in their hearts. But first, to love him. What was the question?
What people will make up the Mahdi's army? How will we know when he arrives? How long do you think before he arrives?
Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam have led the Sahaba, it's Muhajirin, 600 some. There were thousands of them. And when the trip of Isra and Mi'raj comes, many of them has denied this trip, and he actually, they said between 2,000 to 3,000 get out of Islam. The only one fixed and stopped and continue with Rasulullah believing him was 600 something. They said 623 or so. And this is the number of Muhajirin. They make hijrah with him. These are the people who supported. Those are the people who continue the message and get the Ansar, which is the tenant of Medina, and these are the ones who conquered the whole Arabian Peninsula, and these are the ones who conquered the whole world. 80 to 85% of the Sahaba of Rasulullah have died in battles. So try to build the iman within yourself and transmit that to your children, your relatives, neighbors. Iman. And to have that iman, you have to believe in one thing. If you don't like to listen to me, go outside and watch your mobile outside. I'm just talking about this. You have to lead by example. Iman is the only possible to save you. Your savior is your connection with Allah, your connection with Rasulullah. So you have to generate or get generations having that one. But people are wasting their time with the mobiles, so they have no value. Those who, women or men or boys or girls, wasting their time in the world, they have no value. They don't have time to have any iman or faith, because the only value, only truth is death. Everyone will die. Where would you like to be when you die in the other side? in Akhirah. Would you like to be with Rasulullah, prophets in the Jannah, or you'd like to be follow the Iblis, Lucifers, and the Dajjal? It's up to you. You are the decision maker of your own life. Don't say I'm young, not young. You understand quite well what I'm saying. When Imam Mahdi will come, this is certain conditions. Fulfill these conditions will come. It might come in 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, whatever. لعن الله الموقتون. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he said, Allah will doom those who make times from their own mind. Just certain conditions, when it is fulfilled, he will come. It might 10 years, it might 20, 30, probably 30. I'm not sure. Yes.
How can we make our Qareen into a good Muslim?
If I tell you, you will laugh. There is a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, a mu'min and a kafir, they are neighbors. So the qareen of the mu'min and the qareen of the kafir are friends. All of them are jinn, shayateen. They met together. The qareen of the kafir is bloody fatty and healthy and tall and strong. And the qareen of the mu'min is very skinny and hardly he can walk. And the other one has a very fancy dresses, fancy stuff, and the one is very tired and rotten shape and stuff like this. The other one is very clear and nice. This one is dirty and smelly. I said, what's wrong with you? He said, the man I have, he's making Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is everything. When he eats, say Bismillah ar-Rahman, I cannot eat with him. When he dress his new clothes, when he said Bismillah ar-Rahman, I cannot dress with him. When he is sleeping with his wife, said Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Allahumma jannibna ash-shaytan wa jannib ash-shaytana ma razaqtana, I cannot sleep with him. So I don't have any nourishment at all, and this is how you can see me. You laugh, but this is true. Right? You need to force your qareen to be weak. This is in your hand. Don't say my qareen is strong. It's up to you. You can make your qareen strong, or you can make him very weak. When you make him very weak, he cannot whisper to you or make any waswas. And just if one time when you are forgotten or something, make waswas, إن الذين اتقوا إذا مسهم طائف من الشيطان تذكروا فإذا هم مبصرون. Those who have taqwa, if they have been touched was one of these whispers, remember, immediately you remember, then you will say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, then you will start to stand up, go make wudu and have 2 rak'ahs to kick the shaitan away. So you don't leave him a chance to come closer to you, to whisper to you, to make wiswas. It's in your hand. It's up to you. Yes.
How important are Australians to the Mahdi's army?
As per my knowledge, Australia, New Zealand will be the backyard of Imam Mahdi and the backyard base. And most probably at the time of the world wars, at his time, it will be wars everywhere. That time, that the safest or the safe haven of at the time of Imam Mahdi will be Australia and New Zealand, not anywhere in the air, on earth. Wallahu ta'ala alam, Allah knows better.
How do I protect myself and my family from the fitna of the Dajjal?
Very simple. Follow Rasulullah. Alayhi salatu wasalam has came with the Quran and the Sunnah. All what you need to do, see his instructions, including how to eat and how to dress. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam have taught us how to go to toilet. When you go to toilet, he is asking, when you go to your mosque or your house or your room, get into with your right feet. But when you go to the toilet, you get into there with the left feet. Do you remember those days when we have the negative of the films? When you see the negative, everything is white. You have your own photo. When you print it out, you have the right photo, look like you exactly. But the negative view is something doesn't have shape. They are our negative. We are using our hand as instructions of Rasulullah. They are using their left hand. When you keep using your left hand intentionally, I'm not talking about you, intentionally, right? That means you are indirectly having a covenant or a relationship with them. When Rasulullah asked you to get to the toilet by your left hand, you say, I'm coming in peace, I'm not coming to fight you. With every time you go to by your right hand, right foot, that means you are declaring war against, because the toilet is their world, not your world. Are you living in a toilet? Not. So this is Rasulullah told you, this is their world. When you get into their world, you have to apply their rules. And when you make dua, make it before you get in. أعوذ بالله من الخبث والخبائث. Before you get into the toilet. Not to go and open the toilet and sit there and say, أعوذ بالله من الخبث والخبائث. It doesn't work this way. Because that they will attack you, because you are mentioning word of the Quran which is nur, or word of the dua of Rasulullah which is nur, and they are from the darkness and you're bringing nur to them. This is an attack. Do not attack them. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as a part of his mercy, asked you, this is their world, do not mix with them. If you're coming to that area, this is where their house is to be, toilets. Do not attack them. Next.
Salam Sheikh. You've mentioned that the Imam Mahdi's arrival will be based on that the Muslims will be ready for his arrival. How will the Muslims be ready from how we are now in that time? Spiritually and even physically, how will we be ready? How will we change to be ready?
First of all, you asked this question on a personal basis. Are you making yourself ready? It's a personal responsibility. If I'm talking to Mansour, yeah, Mansour, this is your personal responsibility to be ready. Don't ask me to make you ready. You, Shadi, you make yourself ready. I can teach you how to make ready. I can guide you. I can answer some questions. I can this, but it's still your soul, personal readiness comes from you. This is a personal responsibility. Every mu'min has to stick to the message of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Every mu'min. And when I'm saying this one, it does not matter, are you a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, a Buddhist, anyone is responsible. Every human has a mind, has a heart, has a soul, has a way of life, has a revelation. Tell me who do not know about Muslims and the Quran on earth. Everyone knows now. And this is part of the Dajjal's failure. He tries to hide the truth. Every day the truth is revealing itself, using his own darkness tools, internet, mobiles and stuff. How many of non-Muslims have heard a verse or few verses of the Quran and that inflicted him and became a Muslim on the spot? Some of the people hearing the adhan only, they converted to Islam. Those people from the darkness moving to the light of Islam are more than it was before 100 times. And I'm afraid, Sheikh Shadi, I am afraid that the prediction of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those who will carry the flag of Islam are the Anglo-Saxons, the blue eyes and blonde. They are the ones who will give victory to Imam Mahdi more than us, unfortunately. Because these guys, when they see the truth, they stick to it. You have the truth, you don't care about it. What was the second question?
answer.
That's it? Yes.
Life today is filled with constant daily challenges that keep us busy but not productive and consume the majority of every 24 hours. How do we prepare and develop on a daily basis with this level of
Just stop looking to your mobile. That will save you 6 to 8 hours a day. That will save you minimum 6 hours a day. You stop following the likes, Facebook, your emails, WhatsApp, and all these programs. Just to stop using your mobile 6 hours. Make half of it for the sake of Allah. Making dhikr, reading Quran, making salawat, increase your knowledge, read about Rasulullah, read about the history of Islam, read about the crusade history. We are in the 10th crusade now. Do something. Increase your awareness and knowledge. Yes. It makes sense? Those who ask the question, this makes sense? Yes.
what roles do Christians play in the times to come? Before we answer that, it said that question previously about the 24 hours, it said, how do we prepare and develop on a daily basis with the limited time that we have?
I can teach you Western style. Time management. You wake up in the morning, you have your quick coffee or sandwich, run to your car or to your train, go to work from 9 to 5, come back home. By the time it is 6 o'clock or whatever it is, you still, and normally, don't tell me that you sleep before 12 o'clock. The good one of you sleeps 12, some of you 2 a.m. and he goes at work and he sleep in the train. But anyway, it's a time management. Just have the time management, organize, and you need to reset your priorities. What is your priorities? Work, food, sex, movies and stuff, fine. Your 24 hours done. The question is these orders or the priorities I have currently is going to help me to be developed or not? You won't be developed. Actually, your curve is declining until you touch complete decadence. Use your time wisely. And the only investment Allah has given you is your lifespan. Not much. The money comes and goes, but your lifespan, this is the only real investment you have. So you invest your time wisely. Time management. You can. Everything can be done. Yes.
What role do Christians play in the times to come?
Sorry?
What role do Christians play in the times to
Christian?
come? Yes.
There is no Christian. Go and look to the churches. I wish the Christians can still going to the churches. The world will be much better. Christians, the Dajjal, the Antichrist succeeded as he demolished the Christianity by the Trinity. Now there is no churches. The churches are empty. Christians, majority of them, they are looking to the dunya for fun. And they are changing the laws of Allah. Allah has put the marriage laws and they destroy it. Tell me how many Christian men are interested to marry any woman. He said, go and marry her and make a clash with me and take half of my, or if I have children, she will take 75% of my wealth. I have spent the blood and sweat to collect this wealth and she take it for free. No, I'm not going to marry. And you will keep jumping from one woman to another woman. Then the adultery is filling the earth.
For someone who can't understand Arabic, how do I connect to the Quran and have a relationship with Rasulullah?
Spend some time management, spend some time to learn Arabic.
I was trying to, research that.
Just learn some Arabic. if you are slow, instead of having spend a year, spend 3 years. Make it a priority. This is what I'm saying. You need to reset the order of your priorities. What is number one? Allah or your income or your wife or your tummy, whatever it is. Set or reset your priorities properly. If you wanted to understand the Quran, you still can use the translations. But if you'd like to understand Arabic, Quran properly, spend some time, money and time, and learn Arabic. I can tell you 60% of Muslim scholars for the last 1400 years are non-Arabs. Ghazali is not Arab. Imam Bukhari is not Arab. Imam Muslim is not Arab. The only hadith narrator is Arabic is Imam al-Nasa'i. And Bani Umayyah chopped his head in Syria, in Damascus. Killed him. Yes, sir, they did. So it's not really you are building big wall. This is difficult because you don't have time for that. You have other priorities. Reset the order of your priorities. You can do it, but that does not mean you cannot rely on the translation. If you can speak English, there's plenty of English translation. And I used to do this one. When I have tried to have a translation for a verse of the Quran, I had 6, 7 of them English. And you can see different translation until you understand what does it mean. Yes.
How do I perfect my adab with Allah and Rasulullah? And how do I develop a relationship with both?
If you can perfect your adab with your parents, with your family, that is one step to have adab with Allah. And I will tell you one advice. Don't make yourself in a position when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is upset with you. That is the adab. Don't put yourself in a position or in a circumstances where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be upset with you. Or Rasulullah, consider that Rasulullah is in the front of you. Are you willing to continue to do this badness or evil? It's up to you. You need to have that awareness. Allah is watching. Allah is seeing you. That awareness you have that Allah is watching, Allah is seeing you, that by itself will make yourself very cautious about what you're going to do, what you're going to say. And number two, and actually this should be number one, knowledge. Go and have more knowledge. More knowledge about Allah, about the Quran, about Rasulullah, about the prophets and messengers, about the Sahaba, about Ahlul Bayt. All of this is knowledge. That will give you role models to follow. Yes.
What would be the environment like when the war happens during Imam Mahdi's time? In other words, food, technology, etc.
At the time of Imam Mahdi, where before the Dajjal appears in person, there will be 3 years, as per the hadith of Rasulullah, 3 years just before the appearance of, or just the Dajjal getting in person where people can see him, there will be 3 years of famine and droughts. And people will die out of hunger except the mu'min. They asked Rasulullah, what will be the food of Muslims? Rasulullah said, dhikr. Including the army Imam Mahdi will send to conquer Europe, all of them will be 70,000 blonde ones. Conquer the whole Europe, right? And they will open Constantinople, they will open Rome with no weapons. They will open it by dhikr. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Dhikr. And there is no food, much food with them. And their food is, if you're thirsty, make dhikr. If you're hungry, make dhikr. And I can teach you what kind of dhikr if you like, but just go there. Yes.
Last question. Is it true that the walls of Constantinople were brought down by the dhikr of the army?
Yes, this is what I've just said. Yes. Guys, if you are a real, true Muslim, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have fard of fasting the 30 days of Ramadan, that is a training for you. But real fast. Don't keep awake all the night eating every half an hour something, and you sleep from Fajr to Asr, and you consider yourself you have fasted Ramadan. This is not fasting. Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam asked you to suffer from hunger and thirsty. That is fasting. Because hunger and thirsty will burn the darkness inside you, will release your spirit, will elevate your spiritual level until you become really strong one. When there is no food, the only Muslims who used to fast can survive. Rasulullah ﷺ used to have one bite of a piece of bread every 3 days. Easy. And most of the Sahaba the same. They well trained for that. But if you keep feeding yourself until you become like an elephant or hippo, so what? Are you storing food? It doesn't be stored. It's stored as a fat, and the rest goes to the number 2 and number 1. All Sahaba, none of them were fat. All of them were skinny and healthy. And I will give a sword of any of them. If you can lift it from the floor, I will give you $1,000. They having that 2 kilos or 3 kilos of a sword, and they fighting like a feather.
This is the last question. What type of people will be in the Dajjal's army?
Those who love to protect their dunya. Those who indulged in his dunya. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the Dajjal appears, comes out, he will have Jannah and Nar. In his right hand, Jannah, and his left hand is Nar. And this Jannah will have food, drinks, and nourishment, and shelters and everything. In this Nar, he has punishment, he has drought, he has thirst, everything. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, don't look to his Jannah, jump on his fire. It will be real Jannah. So those who will follow him, those who will following his promises of his own Jannah, earthly stuff, food, nourishment, money, positions and stuff. Those who are until today and until he appears, they are following his path. So don't follow the Dajjal path. One of the Dajjal path is using your mobile intensively. Yes. Last question. Subhanakallahumma. Do you have any other question, guys? Yes.
Like it's not very related to this, like Bani Israel stuff. But like when you read
Sister.
Quran or dua,
Just the mic.
when you do the
Just they wanted to record the question. Just.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
When you read the Quran or any dua or Allahu Akbar, when you do like with the high voice, with the voice out, you feel I feel like it's a feeling in my heart, and it's just making me waking up, and I do more. But when I'm doing from like reading Quran by myself without any voicing out, it just doesn't do much. So why this voice I hear with my ears making me more into reading more. It's a bit
In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned the word قل. لا قل هو الله أحد قل أعوذ برب الفلق قل أعوذ برب الناس قل يا أيها الكافرون قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله. The word قل has been mentioned in the Quran. I forgot the number, but it is something like 300 and something, 30 something. I forgot the figure, but more than 300 times. There is a difference between word قل and the word اقرأ. You remember the first verse in the Quran appear in the Revelations, اقرأ, read. There is a difference between read and قل. قل, it has to be verbally said loudly for others to hear and understand. So, very simple exercise. After you finish your salawat, you're gonna do Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Why? You're saying Assalamu alaikum, no one, you're saying to yourself, or when you say Assalamu alaikum, you're talking to someone else, and not singular, plural. There is plenty of angels praying behind you. There are plenty of angels you already carry, like minimum 360 angels you carry in your body, and there is a plenty of Muslim jinn praying behind you. And you are saying Assalamu alaikum to everyone can hear you. Because Rasulullah said in another hadith, if you are in the middle of the desert and you make adhan, your adhan will be heard by every stone, every mountain, every animal, every creature. Why the adhan is loud? Understand? So it's different between the word qul, say, and the word iqra, read. That is the basis of that one. No problem. One more question. Okay.
Is the army of Imam Mahdi currently on earth now?
Yes. It's under preparation. Yes.
Can we join the army?
Sorry?
Can we join the army now?
It's up to you. It's up to you. Do the right work. Finish. Thank you very much. I've kept you all this time. You've been patient with me to attend for 4 lectures. Thank you very much. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد، يحيي ويميت وهو حي لا يموت وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.